we had an argument about. You had these niggas in here arguing about Bloods versus frats, gangs versus
fraternities. The same thing. Blood is a fraternity. 100%. It's no difference. It's no difference. Only thing they did different is file legal papers that make them a fraternity. If somebody was to name Blood Alpha Phi Blood right now and file the papers, then Blood would be a fraternity, and we could start it anywhere, and they could put it in colleges and all that. Being Blood is not a crime. What you do, if you're doing criminal activity as being a Blood, makes it a crime. But that doesn't mean every Blood is a criminal. It doesn't mean every Blood needs to go to jail for the crime that one Blood did. So I know there's a lot of people in fraternities that broke hella laws and they are locked up right now. I know there's a lot of Q dogs who lock their ass up right now. You heard? You dig? But nobody talks about that. It's all the same thing.
Niggas say, ooh.
You heard?
It's funny as shit.
It's all the same thing. Freemasons, fraternities, Bloods, Crips.
There is no fraternal equivalence. Shooting black teenagers in the streets, being the reason why thousands of black mothers are having to post GoFundMe on their Instagrams and their Facebooks to pay for the funerals for these little bad bastards, that is not the same as what the Omega Sci-Fi, what the goddamn noobs be doing in their recreational times on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sunday evenings. No, it's not. So when Jim Jones said that stupid shit, and for those who don't know what I'm talking about, yes, I'm talking about the interview that Jim Jones did on the Breakfast Club. I want to say it was the week before last, where he said that being a Blood gang member is the same as being a part of a fraternity. Yes, a grown-ass man in his late 40s said that. A grown-ass man who's 3.5 mixtapes away from receiving Social Security payments in his Bank of America account. Yes, he said that. And then the nigga had the nerve to say it again. He went on Joe Budden's podcast the week after that and said he doubled down on it. And I was shocked to see Imani and Ice from the podcast actually agreeing with these statements. So, and I'll post a full reaction to this on my Patreon. Subscribe to the Patreon. Black men, we have to stop normalizing bullshit. Much love to all the black men in the comments on the YouTube channel on the Breakfast Club, as well as the YouTube channel, as well as the Patreon for the Joe Budden podcast, who said in the comments, if this motherfucker, who the same age as my pawpaw, don't get out of here talking about this goddamn blood gang shit, if he don't get, what is he talking? As a man whose father is blood, my father's blood, some of my cousins are, I can say that I do get the argument of what you're trying to say. There is a brotherhood aspect to this. Not all brotherhoods are good. Not all brotherhoods are good. Hell, there's a brotherhood aspect to the goddamn to Hamas. There's a goddamn brotherhood aspect to every Islamic terrorist organization that we have on the ban list somewhere in the federal government. That don't mean we should say it's the same as being Omega Sci-Fi Alpha. Now, keep in mind, I am recording this Patreon video at this point sometime after the hazing of that young man who lost his life by one fraternity that we do have. I forgot what the name of it was, but you know what I'm talking about. So there is some bullshit that our fraternities, particularly our black fraternities, not trying to harp on y'all, but just being honest, there is some bullshit that we engage in, that they engage in, that is not right. But it's insane to act like the mission statement of Omega Sci-Fi Alpha Pi Cap when talking about the white boys is the same as the mission statement as 9 Trey Bloods, Oak Park Bloods, and Voodoo. It's not the same thing. I grew up idolizing gangs. I'm a gang historian, gang encyclopedia, if that is a word that we can find in the Webster's Dictionary. I 100% understand the appeal to the masses of the youth, that gang, that being a Blood, being a Crip, being a Funk Lord, etc., etc. My uncle's Funk Lords. But I never took that path because I knew it wasn't for me. I knew it wasn't for me. I was one of those kids growing up where a lot of shit I refused to participate in because I knew that my Hufflepuff Ravenclaw scarf, I'm talking about watched Inuyasha season 1, 2, 3, and even the final act ass, had no business being on the street corner of Wilson and Franklin trying to sell dime bags of weed for recreational purposes, trying to make ends meet. I just knew that wasn't for me. I knew that my goddamn Gundam wing, I'm lying, I didn't watch Gundam Wing. I was a Trinity Blood and Trigun man. I knew that my ass did not deserve to be on the street corner acting like I was really ready to go back and forth with these niggas day in and day out, possibly shoot somebody else, little dumbass 17-year-old, end up in jail, get tried as an adult, and have to fight for my booty virginity against a guy named Big Buck. I just knew that wasn't for me, brother. And what's hard is a lot of teenagers, not saying that I was better or worse, a lot of teenagers nowadays, they don't have that discernment. They don't have that discernment to be able to say, hey man, this is for me or it's not for me. And it's sad. We're losing, and this is not just a black issue, it's a white issue, it's an American issue as a whole if we're talking about it as concerns American citizens. As far as in the black community, in our nucleus, we're losing a lot of people who could have been black doctors, who could have been nurses, who could have been RNs, who could have been police officers, who could have been anything. I'm trying to speak that into existence like I'm a polygraph tomorrow, who could have been anything, but they chose this bullshit. And I felt like it was very irresponsible for this man to go on his platform, and when he went on this platform, they almost encouraged